This is Bahamas drill journalist, and this is the story of the Bahamas' most wanted criminals and street legends. Here we bring you in the eastern part of Nassau, Elizabeth Estates, the home of the Teflons, better known as the Raiders. We bring you the known drug boss of the East, Navid Nairn, also known as Booker. Booker was the boss of the family household. Willie was one of his right hand and Fufu was one of his transport. Around this time things was going good. Booker ran most of his community and was the shot-caller, drug dealer turned businessman, who was well connected with the One Order gang, dating back to the year 2012, when he was arrested amongst other drug kingpins, thugs, and bosses. On that day, under heavy police guard, convicted drug offender Stephen Dye Stubbs made his way into a magistrate's court. Dye was to face a drug-related charge stemming from an incident back in April. Dye, a One Order gang leader, and 12 other men, while at a property, were detained and were to be charged with conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs, with the intent to supply, possession of dangerous drugs, and vagrancy. It was revealed that police seized 15 bags of marijuana from a property through Strachan's Alley. Back in April 2012, Stephen Dye Stubbs, along with his co-accused, pleaded not guilty. However, one man who pleaded guilty claimed the others had nothing to do with the incident. According to our sources, police on April 9, 2012, arrived at the property with a search warrant and observed a group of men in the yard. He said one man was seen removing something from the ground and moving it into a shack on the premises. Officers retrieved the object and, after discovering that it was a plastic bag filled with suspected marijuana, took the men into police custody. It was also revealed that Alvin Dumont, 26, of St. James Road, pleaded guilty to all 3 charges. The other defendants were Suspect 1 Giovanni Cavan Roberts, of Strachan's Alley off Kemp Road; Suspect 2 Dominic Levanti, of Armbruster Street, Fox Hill; Suspect 3 Charles Davis, of St. Margaret Road; Suspect 4 Navid Nairn of Commonwealth Boulevard; Suspect 5 Gerald Davis of Samana Drive, Marathon Estates; Suspect 6 Dwight Stewart, of Leon Road; Suspect 7 Tavares Miller of Kemp Road; Suspect 8 Ricardo Davis of Dunmore Street; Suspect 9 Shathryn Darville of Eastwood; Suspect 10 Anton James Bastian of Abraham Street; and Suspect 11 Kino Whymms of Abraham Street. Roberts is not accused of the 3rd charge of vagrancy. Just last month, March 2012, Stubbs was sentenced to 4 years in prison for conspiracy to import and possess dangerous drugs with intent to supply. According to the evidence that came up during the trial, the marijuana weighed nearly 4,000 pounds, came from Jamaica, and was dropped off in Williamstown. The drugs were worth more than $5.9 million. The war between Booker and the Punisher that caused a split on the community. It was tension as Booker would become a businessman and still run the drug game in his community. Booker wanted Punisher to become a worker, and Pun wanted full access to the community, asking for Booker to retire. Booker wasn't having the disrespect, and August 12, 2021, a man who was accused of murder was shot dead in Elizabeth Estates early Wednesday morning. Victim murdered was Dominic Moss, aka Nardo Moss, aka Pun, aka the Punisher. 2 men were shot to the heads in this incident. Both men were trapping in Crime's yard that is diagonally across from drug boss Booker trap spot, taunting their Ogon Commonwealth Boulevard in Elizabeth Estates community, when a vehicle stopped in front of Crime's home and bought a package from Punisher. As it was alleged, Punisher was taking some cash from the unidentified person in the vehicle, when another vehicle stopped and he looked but turned away to the stash of drugs. At that time, Punisher probably thought he had another sale, but it turns out to be an ambushed. A masked man hopped out of the car and shot one individual sitting on the porch straight to the head. This victim was identified as Leonardo Trevor Lewis, also known as Crime, then dropped out of the chair he was sitting in and played dead on his own porch. Upon seeing the gunman with an AK-47, Punisher tried to run to the back of the house while being chased and shot at. The gunman then shot Punisher multiple times while he was running and overkilled Punisher. While he stumbled in the backyard along a fence, he made an attempt crossing. Then gunman then fled back to the vehicle and made his good escape. Leonardo Lewis, aka Crime, survived but had his eye socket blown out with a 7.62 bullet. Punisher died on the scene. It's alleged that Booker placed a small bounty on Punisher's head in exchange to control his turf and send a message. Dominic Punisher Moss, you should remember, was charged before. Punisher was accused of intentionally causing the death of Ryan Taylor on Tuesday, November 17, 2020. He was also charged with the attempted murder of another, after officers alleged that he, along with another, tried to kill Travis Curry, also known as Black Boy, that same day. And yet, some 9 months later, Moss was on Commonwealth Boulevard in Elizabeth, skipping across the street like a child out of school without a care in the world. Seconds later, he was being chased and gunned down in the streets as he fled, a gunman with bullets firing in his direction. All unfolding not far away from the Elizabeth police station in a yard nearby, where he died on the scene. Seeking for revenge for Punisher, there were a series of gunmen who praises the Punisher was willing to headhunt the Lizzie boss Navida Nairn, also known as Booker. On August 2021, 17, we can confirm a male was shot multiple times with an AK-47. The victim was pronounced dead on the scene as his murderer just vanished in full view of the police station yard. The victim, who is referred to as Navida Nairn Booker, was throwing out trash on his girlfriend's home surveillance camera when a small Japanese vehicle stopped and one gunman emerges and fatally shot him to death. Our sources can tell you guys that it was a retaliation for Punisher's